The following is an audio interview between law enforcement and those who witnessed the tragic incident at the 2021 Waukesha Christmas Parade when Darrell E Brooks drove his mother's red Ford Escape through the parade. 6 people lost their lives that day, more than 70 sustained injuries, and the numbers of those emotionally traumatized is beyond the hundreds. While most of the descriptions contained in this video are not graphic in nature, some may find this audio difficult to listen to. Viewer discretion is advised.
All right, Anthony. Well, thanks for coming in. I'm Detective Carpenter. You can call me Jay.
Okay.
Give you my card here.
Thank you.
Real quick, just can I get, to start this out, your full, so obviously your first legal first name is Anthony?
Yep.
And this is just reference, Sunday. Were you at the Christmas parade that day, Anthony?
Yes, my family was.
And who was there with you and your family?
My wife, Elizabeth Lloyd, my mother-in-law, Kathy Kunkel, and then our 3 daughters, Olivia, Everly, and Avery.
How old are they?
They'll be 6, 8, and 10, but they're 5, 8, and 9 right now. So.
Okay. Gotcha. And I know some of this, so I apologize. Some of it's repeat because I talked to you a little on the phone.
Yeah.
But can you just reiterate to me, where were you along the route? Where
Yep.
were you and your family standing?
We were towards the end of the trade route on the north side of the road, right by the Monument Center, on the westernmost side of the Monument Center.
Is that along Main Street?
Yes.
Main Strip? Okay. And as far as the crowd, Anthony, what was the crowd like? I mean, was it pretty crowded? Was there a lot of gap between people? Not that you can barely move, but were you kind of pretty tight, shoulder to shoulder, gapped out, rows of people like 1, 2, or 3, or just one row of people along the street?
There was, it wasn't extremely packed and crowded, but it wasn't sparse crowding, if that kind of makes sense. I mean, I would say it was a good crowd. There was enough room for people to walk behind us on the sidewalk, so the sidewalk wasn't completely closed. There's always a couple families that have their kids on the road, kind of in that little where the cars can park on the side of the road. There was a couple of families there, and we were kind of standing between right on the sidewalk, and some of our kids were in the road, kind of where that parking is. So
okay, gotcha. And then, what, in your own words, Anthony, what was it that alerted you something was wrong?
The first thing, and it wasn't something that struck as something was wrong, but I thought there was a large gap in between the parade marchers. Usually there's a 30-second to a minute gap, depending on the size, if someone slows up and that kind of stuff. So it was a little bit extended. We've been to the parade before, so I know there's always Santa Claus at the end. But during that gap, we're just spending time with the kids, but it was kind of odd that it was longer. And then the next thing I heard was the sound of vehicles striking. It wasn't striking buildings, it wasn't striking another car. I could tell it was something different. It just had a different sound to it, similar to a vehicle striking a deer.
Okay.
And when I looked to my left down the parade route, I could see a medium mid-sized SUV that was red in color, and it was striking pedestrians that were on the south side of the road. One individual I saw was hit by the car. It was thrown forward maybe 10, 15 feet. At that time, the car just continued to drive over the individual, and then it continued heading, west? Mm-hmm. West around the parade route, but it was weaving between the middle of the road off to the side of the road. It didn't appear like it was trying to miss anybody.
So, it
was
was it going center left or center right?
It was going from the center to the left, so the south side of the road.
Okay. This person you said went flying about 10, 15 feet. You said they were then drove over. Did they
Yeah, so the body was thrown up and pushed forward, and then at that time, the car drove over the body.
After it had come back down to the ground?
Right.
Okay.
So it struck the individual, pushed it forward, and ended up driving over it. The individual.
Did you notice at any point this car, so it's coming through, it's striking people. Did you get any, it's a red SUV, could you see the driver at all?
No.
Could you see anyone in the car waving their hands like left to right as if they were motioning for people to get out of the way or anything like that?
No.
Did you hear any audible signal from the vehicle like beeping of the horn to alert people was coming?
That I did not know.
No? Okay.
The only sound was the impact of the collision and the people screaming, the crowd screaming.
Did the vehicle accelerate at any point and gain speed?
From what I heard, I could hear an increase in the RPMs of the car when I first initially saw it. So I'm a car guy, so I could tell that it did increase speed as it was trying to leave the area.
Okay. How fast do you think it was going at its fastest point, if you had an estimation?
Yeah, being in a stationary position, I'd say between 30 and 40 miles an hour.
Okay.
I mean, it was a lot faster, and I think that's a 20 mile an hour area. It definitely was a lot faster than a car that would just normally drive by there.
Okay. You said it was weaving as it was going down the street. What did it look like? What do you think? Did this look like a car that was out of control? Or did you decipher it different? Did it look like it was intentional? You say it was weaving. Was it weaving towards people from what you could see, like in their direction? Or describe the weaving in your own words.
Yeah, my assumption was that it had swerved into people directly on the south side of the road. It had swerved into the crowd. Looking back on it, there was nobody in the center of the road that they were trying to swerve away from. So at that time, I was under the impression that it was purposely swerving into the crowd. Your initial thought is you don't want that to be the case, but when you're sitting there and you look at it and there's nobody in the center of the road, why would it be swerving that far south and striking people? And it didn't make an attempt to pick a clear lane, because the clear lane would have been driving down the center, whereas the car was driving towards the side of the road. So swerving from center again to left.
Okay. And this was after it's passed you?
Yeah.
So there's no one in the road, and then it's swerving left towards where
right.
spectators are gathered?
It kept swerving to the driver's side, the left side of the road, where there were spectators again versus being center.
Okay.
I mean, there wasn't a lot of reaction time to actually step away once
Yep.
you realized what was going on. But most people, when they heard the screams, it would make a reaction. They would move backwards, and there was enough space for the crowd, the parade participants, to get through. So if it would have been a solo car trying to avoid people, it could have clearly gone through.
Okay.
That's my assumption from what I had seen.
Okay. Did you, after the person that was run over right in front of you, did you approach that person at any point while they were down?
I did. My mother-in-law had taken our kids behind the Monument Center into Crush. They know the owners. They go there quite often, so they felt comfortable in there. My wife was standing on the sidewalk. I wanted to go help the individual that was laying, I believe they were laying face down. Thing I remember was the shoes were knocked off. So I could tell that they were laying face down. I didn't actually check vitals. There was a person that was there moments before I was. They checked the vitals and they said there are no vitals anymore. I believe there was a nurse that either was there or come up afterwards, and she was telling an officer that walked by that I was trying to flag over that she was a nurse. I don't know if she was the one that checked vitals, but someone did, and at that time I realized that there was nothing I could do. I'm not a trained professional. I just know CPR, but I realized my family needed me more, so I ended up leaving.
Okay. And at any point, Anthony, did you see anyone else specifically? I know you said you heard thumping.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anyone else other than this? You're not sure if it was it a male or a female? Or
I don't know.
Other than that person, is there anyone else you saw specifically get hit?
There were several people that got hit. That was the one that really sticks out because I saw the body move forward and then get run over. As I watched the car later on, I saw it again sweep into the crowd. So there was another one there's a bar on the other side, maybe like 25 feet down from the Monument Center. Is it Main Street Bar or something like that?
I'm not sure, but this is after it's past you, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's heading further west. There was another body, another individual that was hit there. They were lying in the road. The reason I didn't go up to them is they were already being attended to by other.
The one you initially went up to where someone told you there was no vitals, did you ever see that person move?
No. They didn't
Any
move.
indications of life?
No, and I had stood there for a couple minutes waiting just to make an assessment to see if another car was going to come down, to see if it was two cars racing or, whatever. Like, I just wanted to make sure that there wasn't an immediate threat again before I crossed the road, and I watched that individual lay there lifeless, and I just didn't see how being struck and then driven over there would be much life left. And so I went up there, and after they said that, I just assumed all in all that person had deceased already.
Okay. And did you see, if you can remember, if you scanned anything at all? I know Liz probably became your primary point of attention and the rest of your family after that. Did you notice, I know a lot of people are running, a lot of people are screaming, any other bodies or people, whether dead or alive, that were down, injured?
There was,
other than the two you've told me
right,
about.
the two, and then another 20 feet beyond that, there was somebody else that was being attended to. I believe there was the lady or individual directly in front of me, the one that was maybe 20 yards away, just south of the bar, and then there was another individual that I can recall that was being tended to a little bit further west. So there was 4 total that I had seen. I didn't really look any further east up the parade route.
Okay. Just kind of to the west.
Yeah.
South across, south into the west.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Were you afraid for the safety of yourself and your family, Anthony? In any way?
I mean, yeah. My initial thought from walking away and the hard thing that I struggle with now is I just wish I could have done more.
Right.
I don't know, right or wrong. Like
Yeah.
it's, like my family needed me, but I felt like if I wanted to do something to help people. I'm in a restaurant business, and like just walking away, I felt, I don't know, like that was a hard thing to do, but I knew my family needed me, so.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming in. I know this is not easy to do. You're one of many. Appreciate the help all of you are giving to this. Take time with it. Watch yourself, watch the kids, watch Liz.
Yeah.
Just normalize the best you can. If you're not eating or sleeping, make sure you're talking to someone.
Yeah. I've had all my bosses have been calling me, vice president of the company's reached out to me, and so just to make sure I'm doing all right.
If anything pops in, you got my card there, Anthony.
Okay.
Anything pops in your head. Now, there's voicemail at that line. So,
Sure, yep.
I mean, if you wake up at 2 a.m. and you just think, I got to know something, you can call it. I won't be there, but you'll be able to leave a message and I'll get it.
Sure.
So whatever you need to do, just give that line a call. Last question for you. Is there anything I didn't ask or off the top of your head right now from that incident you can think of that you either want to tell me or think I need to know? And if there's nothing, that's okay.
Yeah, no, I can't think of anything. Besides the point, I'm sure you heard, it was an awful thing.
Yes.
Awful thing right for Christmas. Waukesha, when I first moved up here, I wasn't a big fan of it. I was downtown, and now I'm like, I like how it's a little small, big community and that, and it's just to see this happen, it's awful because we go to Friday night, live downtown quite a bit, and just it's going to take time. But no, I agree. There's nothing else that I can think of that I witnessed firsthand that I could add to it.
Okay. All right, Anthony. Well, I'll end the recording here. I appreciate you coming in.
Yeah.
All right, this is Detective Carpenter with Elizabeth. So I guess you were at the Christmas parade this past Sunday, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and who were you all with? Were you alone? Were you with family members?
I was with my mom and my husband and our 3 daughters.
How old are your daughters?
5, 8, and 9.
Okay. And where were you along the route specifically? Can you recall?
We were sitting at the on Main Street at the end of the building that Crush is located in, so just beyond
Okay.
that gallery that's right next to it.
Crush Wine Bar, is that it?
Yeah, in that driveway or the entrance.
Okay. Yeah, that gate, I'm familiar with that gate
Yeah.
you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah.
Or that you told me about over the phone?
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Can you describe the crowd where you were standing? Was it crowded? Was it rather thin, shoulder to shoulder, kind of spread out, as far as not necessarily who was in the middle of the route, but as far as the spectators?
We were, I would say, comfortably seated. I mean, there were a lot of people, but it wasn't,
Okay.
we weren't like feeling crowded by any means. I would say shoulder to shoulder and
Okay.
maybe a couple, 2 rows of people maybe. Generally, it's like the kids and then the parents behind them.
Okay. So people are kind of right up against each other, not standing on each other, but
Yeah, right.
right against each other and stacked in at least 2
Sure.
rows.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And at this point, I'm going to ask you a question here momentarily, and when I do, I'm just going to let you kind of tell what you recall
Okay.
in your own words. I might have questions here and there just to clarify,
Mhm.
but that question would be, what alerted you initially and drew your attention towards the route that something was wrong?
So when it happened, we were in the middle of like a lull of the parade, I would say, or a
Okay.
gap. And so we were just anticipating what was coming next, and I heard a lot of thunking
Okay.
and then screaming. So naturally, I assumed that there was something exciting coming up, and I stepped out into the road to kind of look down. And as I did that, I saw the SUV speeding past us, and then all down the road, you could see just people lying all over the road.
What
And-
color was that SUV?
Red.
Red?
Hmm.
Okay. And when you say you heard thunking, do you know what that thunking was?
It was him hitting people.
Okay.
Yeah. And
And-
you
go
could clearly hear acceleration. It wasn't like him just casually driving through. You could hear the engine accelerating.
Like rapid? Like he was...
Yeah, and I don't know if it was because it was near the end of the parade route that he just was like, this is my out, or what, but there was clear acceleration.
How fast do you estimate the SUV went when you saw it go by you?
I mean, I would say at least 30, if not 40.
Okay. Could you see anyone specifically inside of the car?
No, I was, I
Okay.
mean, beyond the speed, I was also very distracted.
Okay. Were you worried for the safety of you and your kids and your family?
Yes.
Okay. And now when you describe the screaming and the thunking, like I can picture in myself a little bit based on my familiarity with, the downtown, but others might not be as familiar. So as you're facing the parade route and your back is towards the buildings, when you hear the thunking and the screaming, when you look to see where it's coming from, is that initially to your left or to your right?
I'm looking to my left.
When you hear it, it's coming from that direction?
Yeah, as I'm looking out into the street, I'm
Okay.
looking left.
And I know you said, you could hear the acceleration. The vehicle was driving fast, 30 to 40 miles an hour. Can you describe the vehicle's path, I guess, within the roadway? Does that question make sense? Like straight, was it?
Oh, no, he was swerving for sure. I don't know.
Like left to right?
I mean, he was going that fast, so obviously I didn't see his path much before.
Sure.
But it seemed as though when I did see him, it was kind of like that. Just, again, we were at the end, so I don't know
Okay.
how he was.
Like a
focused,
weave,
yeah.
maybe? Is that a
Yeah,
good way to describe
sure.
it, do you think? Okay. Okay. And did you see, and take your time with this question, Elizabeth, did you see anyone actually get hit by the vehicle? Can you describe that to the best you can?
Yep. So I don't know if he hit this woman from behind or from the side, but when he hit her, she was tossed, I would say 10 to 15 feet into the road, and she landed directly in front of us. I would say probably 10 feet, 15 feet in front of us, on the other side of the road.
Okay.
And she landed, and then he continued to just drive over her.
Okay. And from what you observed, did the driver, whoever it was, make any attempt to avoid this woman or anyone else?
No.
Any attempt upon the impact of this woman to slow down or anything?
No.
And did you notice the driver inside of the vehicle, waving his or her arms at all as if telling people to get out of the way, honking the horn, either of those things?
No honking. The only thing that I heard from the vehicle was acceleration. I did not hear, there was no yelling coming from it, we were on the opposite side, so if he was having anything out of his window, I did not see it.
Okay. I know there was a lot of chaos down there as this all went on, and I know you saw the one woman get struck. Did you see anyone? Did anyone render her aid that you saw?
My husband immediately ran across the street to go and
Okay.
help, and I know that there were a couple of other people that went to help as well.
Okay, so you went to help that woman. Did you see anyone? This is kind of a twofold question. So the first part is, did you see anyone else get hit? Actually hit? You heard the thunking, but actually...
Yeah, that was the only one that I witnessed.
Okay. Once the vehicles passed and continued down the street, as you looked left and right, to what you recall, I know you only saw one woman get hit, but did you see any other people that were down, that appeared hurt, that were like down on the ground after the vehicles gone by?
To my left, looking out into the street to my left, there were quite a few.
Okay.
I honestly don't recall looking to the right.
Okay.
So I don't know if there was more beyond us.
Okay. And your husband, obviously, he approached the woman. He tried to help her. Did you really get a good look at her all? Was she did she look unconscious, alive, dead? Could you even tell?
I was standing there waiting for her to move so that I could feel something other than, I don't know. And there was no movement at all. And my husband probably stood there for 2 minutes.
Okay.
And when he came back to me, he said that she was gone.
Okay.
I think he had mentioned that another man that was there helping her. By the time my husband got there, which was immediately after, he had already gone down to take a pulse, and there was no pulse.
Okay. Okay. Other than the vehicle being a red SUV, that's all you were really able to see, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is there anything else you can think of right now, Liz, that is on your mind specific to what you saw that I should know? I mean, it was pretty chaotic. Were there a lot of people running about, screaming, afraid, trying to help others right after?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And after the vehicle flew by, did you ever see it again? Like it came back and tried to acknowledge there was an accident and tried to help anyone?
No.
Okay. And after it went by and went to your right, did you get much of a look after that at it at that point after that, or did you say no?
No, I was
No.
very much trying to make sure that my children were okay.
Okay. This question, I know you saw it didn't drive straight, it kind of weaved. Do you have a perception on what the driver might have been doing at that point? Do you think it was out of control or something different?
That was my immediate thought, was that maybe somebody from the parade had something medically wrong with them and they had landed their foot.
Sure.
But then when I had looked out onto the street and saw that there were all of those people down and everybody was panicking, then I knew that it was more than just, somebody from the parade. Then I knew it was an outside vehicle.
Okay.
It seemed as though he just didn't care, that he
Okay.
was just flying down the road, not worrying about anything in his path. There was no slowing down.
Okay.
I mean, it just seemed as though he just was
Did it seem
recklessly-
intentional?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
You said recklessly?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I appreciate your time. Liz, that's all. This is very traumatic, and I appreciate you coming in. Is there anything you can think of? I can't think of anything else I have to add. I think you've covered it pretty clear on what your observations were and, some of your perceptions of those observations, reasonable perceptions in my mind based on what you're telling me you saw. Is there anything else you can think of right now?
No, I think
That about covers
that's what I've got up here.
it? Okay. All right. Well, I thank you very much for coming in. You have my card, right?
Yeah. Yep.
If a question or concern comes up, whatever it might be, you just think I need to know something, just don't hesitate to use the number on the card. Okay, it's my desk. If I don't pick up, there is voicemail.
Okay.
It's kind of a weird week. I don't know. I should be here tomorrow. I don't know how much after that, but
Okay.
you can call that number any time of day. The voicemail will always pick up.
Okay.
Okay?
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you.
And I know when we talked on the phone, you said you wasn't sure your husband was ready. Please let him know about the card. And if he changes his thought, have him give me a call
I did
as well.
speak with him on my way
Okay.
here, and he said he's probably more willing to talk to you about it than to me.
Okay.
What's
his name?
his name's Anthony. So yeah, he said if it was something that would be helpful, he is more than willing to come in and do that.
Okay. Does he have a cell phone? Would it be best for me to call him, or should I just have him call me?
You can call him. He actually just got home from work, so.
Okay, can I grab his cell?
Yep,
Even though as long as you're
262.
here? Okay. Yeah, just, let him know, I'm here, and then I can always reach out to him too, and, we can discuss what went on, and sometimes talking about it can help give closure too.
Yeah.
And hopefully move on, and the important thing is going forward. Are your kids okay?
They seem to be okay.
Okay.
I think time will tell.
Yeah,
I know.
for sure.
My youngest just went to school yesterday to talk to, the school psychologist.
Sure.
5, so I don't know that how much. I think she
Okay.
just wanted to talk to somebody that wasn't me.
Sure. Yeah.
My oldest is the one I'm more concerned about, but she won't talk. She'll talk
Okay.
about what happened and ask questions, but she.
Yeah, I'm not looking to bring the kids
No,
in, just,
no,
just
no.
talk with them and
Yep.
make sure they're okay and
Yeah, no, I would never. But
tough, so.
yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I think
Okay.
it's just going to be like a time thing.
Sure, sounds good. Thank you so much, Liz. Have a good holiday weekend,
Yeah,
and if you have
you
any
too.
questions, call.
Okay.
And I'll catch up with Anthony and we'll
Okay,
chat.
sounds
All right,
good.
thank you.
So you go by Jean, right?
Yeah, that's fine, Courtney.
And is this your current address on here?
Yeah,
Okay.
in Wales. A security, how do you call him? An officer is going down the street saying, "Did you see it?" And the guy next to me didn't see it. It's okay, if I could offer something.
Yeah.
It was so surreal. It's like if you ever went to Orlando, they have that different parks where they show you how to make movies, they got hydraulic things, and so like from here maybe to the water fountain, but whatever across the street is, as it came, it was just starting to hurt people at this point. It was on the curb, like where the people were standing at one set of wheels, and I see him. In fact, he looks exactly like the guy in the pictures that you see, and it's like, it's like right in front of you. You're just like, whoa, and you could see this car was like an angle almost. And then it's accelerating through these people, and people are scattering. It's just like something in the movies,
Yeah.
It's like, and I could just see all these kids, that everybody's screaming, and of course the parents. Here's what you didn't know, the parade. There was people in the street in the parade, and then we're waiting for Santa Claus down there. So you're all looking. The bad side is the parade is going one way. They were coming from the back end.
Right.
So people didn't see ahead of them, And then
Yeah.
you had the music playing and people are talking, and you didn't hear all this stuff. And so right where we were the start, and the guy said it's accelerating, after he hits all these. I thought he would have stopped, because you have these wave of people kind of getting out of the way, and then you didn't know if there was more cars. You didn't know if there was gunfire, because all this other crap that's going on. All these things race to your head really quick because of the terrorism and whatnot. Like maybe there's more cars coming, and so people are grabbing their kids. It's amazing. You never used to think that way.
Right.
Like when the first 9/11 happened, the people were saying, "Oh, we'll probably get kidnapped and go to Cuba," or something. They didn't think it's an airplane ride.
Yeah.
They didn't think any. Oh yeah, so kidnapped. We'll go someday.
Right.
Come into the plane. But in Israel, they would know they've done this before. If there was going to be takeover, they'd be doing something to take over the plane because they've been used to that. Now they would do something. Now just the mentality of like what's your first reaction? Anyway, this is where we're standing.
So
okay?
here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start. Can I get your phone number quick? Okay. And were you in town for the parade?
I was going to be in the parade. I was waiting for some group to come by.
Okay.
So I had just gotten, and this is exactly where I was at.
Okay.
So you have it.
You were supposed to be in the parade.
Yeah, so I was waiting for my group to come, and they were usually at the end of the group. So I was going to join my group, but they ended up being the front of the parade this year.
Oh, boy.
So I missed, they were already done. So I was watching the parade. So I was right, 2 or 3 people. And I usually take pictures, but I was enjoying the parade.
Which is good.
The saddest part was the dancing grannies. They were a class act.
Yeah.
I was really impressed when they came through, and these women were just neat. It was just like I've seen a lot of things, but these women had class. You know, they were walking, they dressed up nice, they had all lit up and stuff. And the
Aw.
one that was really bubbling, the one that was shot, my daughter's friend sent a picture of that. I saw her because she was a couple feet from me, and it was impressive. This young gal, she was just so excited to be out there.
Aw.
And
So
yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt. You were on Main Street
You can
at
keep
the
that,
at the intersection of Gasper, or you were
I was
on Gasper?
on Main Street looking south.
South, okay.
So I have it there south. You put Gaspar Street because that's about where the first. And I'll show you this. This is where the first injuries occurred. And that is the intersection looking south.
Okay.
So this is like a little bit further south.
Did you take these pictures?
Yeah, I took those.
Okay.
Those are from my camera. I just
Okay.
enlarged. I just figured.
Nope, I appreciate it.
Keep them. I took one picture and then I said, "Boy, there's one more person there, to take."
So this was afterwards.
This is done, and there were obviously people were attending because there were so many people that were medical that were there with their kids. It's like, oh my gosh. And then I walked down. This is just an example on Main Street, maybe half a block down. You could just say on Main Street, walking west. Yeah. Just to show, there was somebody attending to each one, and I don't have any medical, and people were coming, running, and stuff like that. Then as I kept walking, I had taken video, which I'll show you. And then this is like People's Park, that intersection there, and there was some people, and they were putting people on gurneys or things, and they're giving chest pumps, and you knew that there was a problem, because they're doing a little bit, before the ambulance could put any kind of gear on them.
Okay.
There were people in the street maybe half an hour that were, they didn't even have a board underneath them. They were there that long, because of 30, 40. And then after it went down from People's Farm Park, then I just had to take one. There was just two things. This is just maybe towards Wisconsin Avenue, so it's like between People's Park and Wisconsin Avenue. There's like two groups of people. And what I was doing video walking back, because I was amazed. You didn't think that anything was going on after that, and you go a little farther and 5 corners, and then you go farther. Holy crap, and it got worse and worse.
Yeah.
So you got towards the end, Wisconsin would turn. I could stand in one spot, and there was like 9, not bodies, but people on the streets. And when I got to one area, which I'll show you, is that I got down towards the parade ended here, and so the last bodies were over in this area.
Okay.
They were coming in. The emergency people were coming in both sides and here.
Where did you see the first bodies when you started walking?
That's right here. That's the first picture. So right here.
Okay.
Right here.
Right
and
there.
Then on. That's that first picture.
Okay,
Right.
so did you see the incident happen?
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me, as you're standing there watching the parade, and the vehicle is coming from this way,
yeah.
perfect. Don't want to put words in your mouth. So
Yeah.
the vehicle's coming from this way, going this way. What do you see? Like, what do you see when it's coming? Like, what do you realize? That type
The
of thing.
parade is here. They're just a float that just was kind of going by, and there's a lot of people walking, in the parade.
Mm-hmm.
And as I was looking down, I was looking forward because there was a float coming with big flames coming out. So you were paying attention to what's going down there.
Okay.
All of a sudden, literally by the time you focus, like literally right in front of me, I'm seeing the side of this SUV, a red one. I could see the guy. He's got his windows down. I could see him. He looked just like the guy in the picture. He had a beard, dark hair. If he was darker complexion, he just said, he wasn't white, but he wasn't black either. So he was just a slight tan complexion. And I could see him as people were screaming, and getting out of the way. And the fact that he was jumped the curb, and the noises you hear was apparently people being hit or hitting stuff, like chairs and whatnot. They were all over the place. And then all of a sudden you could hear him, and this is at 30 miles an hour, so what do you see at that particular time? And it didn't, and then he accelerated. to go down the street.
Do you know what group was in front of you at that time?
I know it was after. No, I know what. Looking at other people's video, I see. Oh, I saw that one. I saw that one. I saw that one. No, I couldn't honestly tell. Maybe I might see. No, maybe it might be something later. There's a float coming up in the video, so I could show you something. People scattered. And then, finally the police says, just get out of here. People were grabbing their kids. And like I said, they were thinking that there was gunshots. They were thinking that, they were thinking all sorts of, crazy things. And people holding their kids' eyes so they wouldn't see anything. And I'm hoping that a lot of the kids were sitting, because some people, you were supposed to throw candy, but they were throwing candy. Mm-hmm. And, the kids were lower, so they might not have seen everything.
Right.
Even if I watched it, I didn't see people flying, although people were moving so fast. So I don't know how much terror would be other than all the screams that the kids would remember.
Yeah.
And I guess there's a couple of kids then in Children's Hospital that have brain stuff. So, and they've already raised $800,000 is now just before I came here. So I got my money to go to donate, and those kids are going to need some help for the rest of their lives. The ones that got hurt. So it's sad because of that.
So you saw the red SUV. Was there anything that you noticed about it? I know you said the windows were down.
The windows were down. I noticed the driver. It was one driver.
Okay.
When you focused on that, for how long it stopped, somehow it seemed like they paused them a bit, and you would think that he was going to stop, like maybe hit a post or something. But no, it just kept on going. It's like...
So did he pause or he didn't pause?
No, the pause might have been... Yeah, it couldn't have stopped. He just kept moving. It's just that maybe my eyes focused on him at that particular time. There might have been a slight delay or something after he hit something. There was everybody had chairs, and so when they scattered, it's like he was on a curve. Like, why did I see his car clearly, and why did I see the whole side of him? And, I know it had a little bit of an angle, not enough. I could see him driving, and, it's that surreal feeling that, it's like this is not... At first you thought it was, could have been part of a unique thing that they did for the parade, something to scare the kids. Or, we're smiling, but you don't know,
right?
What they're thinking about. Go ahead.
No, that's okay. What side of the road was he on when he was coming down?
So at that time, he was on the other side of the road. So I'm standing on the north side, and he was on the south side. So if you give me a picture, the first one, maybe, yeah. So as he was, he was plowing, he was on that, so this is the sidewalk here, the street. So he was on the half of the sidewalk going that way.
Okay. So half of you thinking like two of his tires were up
yes,
on the sidewalk?
I could see I could see more of the car, And looking at it farther from bits and pieces, he was avoiding people. Didn't think of it. Sometimes, I'm thinking if he wanted to get out of it, it's like a bowling alley. If you were trying to escape, there's no way to get out. Except to go forward. That was probably the clearest path, which is a shame.
So you felt like he was trying to avoid hitting people?
At that particular time, I could say there's people. There wasn't a float in the street because I could see right in front of me there wasn't.
Right.
But there was a float that just passed by of some type. And so it would be like he was trying to avoid the float to get around the float. That's why he kind of did the thing on the sidewalk. Yeah, that's I'm thinking of. And as I was looking at other pictures, he was trying to avoid, I don't think he was trying to aim for any person, but he's trying to escape or I don't know what the heck he's thinking about. They'll know after the...
So what do you remember seeing? Because you said you're also looking at pictures, and obviously doing this interview, I'm aware that there's been a ton of videos put out there. There's been a ton of pictures on social media. So if you take all of that stuff out and pretend that you hadn't seen any of that, what do you feel he was doing when you saw him? Did you feel like he was avoiding the float at that time? Did you feel like he was avoiding people? Did you feel like he was aiming towards people? Just when you
It
first
looks like
saw
he was
him
trying
that
to get
day.
by. He was just trying to get around that float to keep going down the
Get
street.
around the float. Okay. Did you hear any like honking? Like, was he honking his horn? Was there any yelling? Obviously not from other people,
People
but
at that time were starting to scream. The
Okay,
kids
people were screaming.
So the only noise I heard, the only thing I could conjecture is the noise of him hitting people.
Okay.
That could have been body blows.
So you
'Cause
didn't
you're
hear
hearing
honking?
some noise. No, get out of my way. And supposedly a block or two before that time, the police started chasing him. I don't know if they were chasing him at the time.
Okay, you didn't see any police chasing him though that you remember?
No, as I can put things together, there would have been some, if he was doing this thing, what I saw on the TV, there was a police car chasing pretty soon. So I don't. After everything settled at that particular time, then it was amazing that since it was kind of towards the Barstow, there was almost immediately there was a fire truck there and an ambulance, or people came out and started picking up these people at this end, so they were ready to go. And that's why I said this is where it started, for injuries at least.
Okay. Do you recall any specific injuries you saw or any of the specific people you saw? Or were you just seeing bodies and that was in mass chaos?
Yes. In each case, there was somebody by each of the people that were injured.
Okay.
2 or 3 people, and there were people with blankets and comforting things. And, I'm in the way because you're waiting for somebody. The support services, the emergency people were outstanding, for this. It's a real credit to what's going on. Because there was like 30, 40 ambulances at the end. I'll just say, and I'll step back a minute. When I was leaving, so a half hour, 45 minutes later, I was by the firehouse. There's a fire station down here, a block or two. There was still an ambulance there with 2 guys ready to go in case there was an accident someplace else.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, not everything goes here.
Yeah.
It's just, they were, and you can see they wanted to do something when they were waiting. Just in case, something else may happen where you're ready. And there were people waiting. After a while, there was like 30 or 40 ambulances that were there. A lot of people took the little kids, took them to the hospital on their own. We didn't know, at that time. And it was interesting that just talking to a couple of people in the street, they already knew before I even left. My girlfriend's over at Summit Hospital, and so many people are there. It's amazing how everybody knew everything, even while they're on the street, as it happens. But the police, as many people as were there, they all seem to know what to do. It's like they're talking, listening, or whatever. Good. And it was so cute. Like, it was a little girl they had at the end. She was at one of the stores, or one of the real estate people place, and she was in a chair, and they literally had this chair on wheels, and they just pushed the gal all into the ambulance. It's just to help this little girl and stuff. It's a shame because a car would come, and I guess little kids, they take the full impact, whereas adults would fly over a car. But an SUV is higher. I don't think that the impact would be different with that.
Yeah. I saw you were getting ready to show the video.
It would be to your advantage to see it, so you would see what was going on. Because when you see videos, you don't see any of what's going on. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So let me see what I could come up with here. And I'm short of space, but I'll show you a couple clips. I'll show both of you the clips, so we'll get to the position here. Okay, so this is all right. Let me get between you or something.
Yep. Do you want to roll? You want to roll behind us there?
Yeah.
Perfect.
You've done this. You guys are younger than I am. So this program here, all right. So this will be the first clip. Let's see what I got here, and then. This is that corner. This is where you started. Okay, 1, 2, 3. There's a policeman coming. There's another one down there. And like that was the view that I saw. And you see a policeman coming, but there's something going on down there. And it was super windy.
Yeah.
Remember. All right. But the police were right there. I mean, they're just unbelievable. You know, they cut up the parade. You see the officers were there. There's no EMTs yet. And this is after the police say you got to move on. Well, I go to my car, so you stayed on the street.
Where did you go?
Okay, I have another one right after this. It's a minute 57 seconds. They did get a gurney out there. You can see the couple of people you have a picture of that just started to pick them up. But people are screaming for their kids or their mother because they didn't know where people were. You know, so you heard screaming here. All right, now let's go to the next one here. Just a minute. Come on. All right, so then I'll do this one's a little longer. Now, yeah, I'm just a little further down the street.
So you're walking west right
I'm
now.
walking west, yes.
Okay.
That's the float that was still there. So I was behind the Burgess float.
Okay.
It was Burgess, because they stopped. So whoever was behind the Burgess float is where I saw that person. And you can see all the chairs, people just screw it, we're out of here, you know, because they left. It's just like a bomb scene. This is like the first block.
Yeah.
And so this is the 6 corners or 5 corners spot. So this is one there and maybe one here. And again, now people are getting gathered. These people, there's no gurneys, there's no boards underneath, and the people's there trying to comfort them. And I don't know what kind of injuries, but they're surely not moving. And I'm not quite sure if there's 2 people there or 1, so.
Is Army okay?
But you're seeing the police, you're seeing people with the yellow jackets. There were a number of them on the street, probably checking out to see what's critical, what's not. And then all of a sudden, squads were coming from all over town, you know, parking their cars. The guys are jumping out of the cars. You know, the police are to be available. I think there's one ambulance that just came into that intersection. And I'm not sure how many people are behind that on the other side of the car. But you can see the cars in the parade are still there.
Yep.
And screaming, you know, really, especially mothers looking for their little ones. The fire department, when they did come with the lights, it really was nice that they were able to add, you know, some kind of you see a gurney there. And that's what I want to say. You have people with backpacks on them, the EMTs that just came out of nowhere, you know, just laying down the streets. And where did they come from? It's like, you know, like Ghostbusters, they're there, you know.
If you got Grandma Chris's stuff.
And when I'm getting to this intersection, then squads were coming up, you know, just add more officers. So they're being pulled from all over the city. I'm sure that's what it was. But there's guys carrying, you know, bags of stuff, you know, that, again, they're probably people that were trained and they know where to get them, or they get them off the fire truck or something when that fire truck stopped there.
Yeah.
Now this is just the first block. Okay, we're going to keep going here a little bit. Now apparently there wasn't a lot of injury in this area here, you know. So whatever parade thing, you know, and this satisfies. When I watched something on TV, there was an area where he was swerving, missing everybody, you know, in that area. So let me go to the next one here. Come on. You see I'm short of memory here. You've been there.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Now here I'm walking towards People's Park, or halfway the hotel, and then I'm walking. I got on the other side of the street now. You're okay?
Here,
All
I
right.
can see.
And here is where I think there's some fatalities occurred in this area, because this is where you'll see they're doing compression on some people, and you know, I think this is where maybe the dancing grannies were. I'm not sure, but here you see the firefighters were there, and they were wrestling with how to transfer that person from the street to the burning. They were really wrestling with that. And then you'll see right when they're done, then there'll be a guy while the person's on the bed who will give some compressions. So you can see that there's a problem with that person. You know, like you see them giving compressions right there. They're trying to keep the person alive. I'm just assuming that. And so I don't know how many were in that area, but at this time there was some emergency people that are here. And then this is further on is where the most damage of people from that intersection, that direction. And that's when somebody said, you know, give it a rest. You shouldn't be videotaping this. You know, you'll see this in a minute. Because when I left, where the guy told me to stop, and about 20 minutes later, they put yellow tape around it, which meant that somebody was a crime scene at that time. So there was one person there, like, okay. So you can see one here and then one there. And then there'll be a pool of blood in one area. And you couldn't offer any help. Everybody was tending to everybody at this time. And like, my jaw's dropping, like I'm walking down, like, hello, did this all happen? You know, here. And this is the scene where something really serious happened also, so. And there were firefighters there, so you could see the coats that they had on. And everybody was respectful. Nobody, everybody kept walking. And at this time, there's blood, from that particular scene. And this guy says, give it a rest. So then I put it in my pocket to respect his decision. So then I walked a little bit within my pocket. So I left the sound on. Because that defeated his sense of helping, people gawking. So I just put it to the side. And this will be over in a couple seconds, and then I'll show you the last clip. Okay. And then I think I got one more. This will be a short one. I could show you some of the other ones. There might be two of them there. This one was... This is about a block away from People's Park, down that street. There's two groups here, and then there'll be one little clip after this one. There's a storefront here or something, that I was trying to stay out of the way, is what I was trying to do. Mm-hmm. And then one more. This is Oh, there's a couple more. Just let me see what they got. This is new for me. Let's see what happens here.
We're in here. Thank you.
Yeah, this is that store. There's a kind of a real estate. They should have cars in here or something. I was just looking far away, trying to stay away from everybody, you know. And you have a picture of this. One of the pictures is this area with that. Hang on, two more real short ones here. It looks like here, 33. This one was neat. The officer came up right with his car, squad car, and they opened the doors, and we're going to put this guy in my car, and I'm going to take him in the squad car. Even though the fire trucks were here and the lights were on, and there wasn't enough room so they got a blanket, and they're just carrying him in a blanket, him or her, and throwing him in the back seat. That's what everybody was doing right there.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like, this is what we're going to do. And they did it. No fanfare. Let's get these people to the hospital. And I guess Waukesha Hospital had like 20-something people there that had come in. Now this one, I went back to People's Park. I was kind of walking that way to come over, and this was just a sense of cars everywhere. I'm looking, every direction, here, there. I mean, this place was lit up, in terms of volunteers. The stuff was all over the place. Now you see memorials there today. And right when I was there, Heartland police were there, and they got something out of their car, shared it with this person, It was just such a cooperation with all the local departments,
Yeah.
And you could see that I guess they have what they call, the rest is I have an audio for 10 minutes, but no video. I just had
that's
something
okay.
in my pocket. But it was like, in the pictures, that I had, let's see if I gave you kind of the idea pictures, that we had. Let's see if I had that, where, it's really hard to see, let's see if I could do this here. In fact, I don't even know if this says anything. No, this is at the before or after. And then I have the time stamps on there, which is everything.
Would you be willing to email those to me?
I got it. If I could figure out, I don't mind doing that. I was going to try to edit or put them together A, B, C, D, and then to reduce it down so they could transmit correctly. You got to tell me what software to use. That's the problem that I have.
Okay.
Because people have what is it, Facebook or the Twitter accounts, you can put things in and load them in, and it reduces it. But I end up having too big a file when I do mine. So
Okay.
I talk to my daughter or something, or if you have some idea of how to transmit it.
Well, how about this? I'll give you a card, and if you need, my email is on here.
Yeah, if I could figure out how to do it, I could do it.
Correct. Or here, I'll give you that. Do you have an email address, a good email
Yeah.
address?
Oh, you
okay.
should.
So what I might do is I might send you a secure link. So it's
Cool.
called ShareFile.
Yeah.
So I can send you an email with this link in it, and if you click on the link, then you can just upload all of your things right into that, and it'll come directly back to me.
All right, so if I if they're on the phone,
Yep.
if I have this clip on, how do I get it from, now you saw it from my gallery.
Yep.
Okay? So how would I then connect it to how would
So-
you physically do that?
There's a possibility you might be able to do it if you check your email on your phone. You might be able to go with that link right there, and where it says upload, then you'll just pick them from right here.
So it'd be like an attachment, I could
Correct.
do that?
Yep.
It doesn't matter how big it is?
Nope. In the link that I'll send you, it doesn't matter how big. It'll just take a little bit of time for you to upload it, but it
Yeah.
doesn't matter how big
I
it
didn't
is.
do that. Okay.
Okay.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Then
it'll
I have
definitely-
it, and then okay, now I don't have to wear this one.
Yep. So that should be good. And you don't mind if I keep these,
They're
correct?
yours. No, I
Okay,
wanna help
perfect.
if I
And
can.
I appreciate that.
I think just seeing this, you would not see this from anybody. Just like the devastation or what was going on.
Absolutely.
And it gives you, for you, if you're going to be investigating this, it would just kind of help you. All right, it's about 3 blocks, and there's probably timestamp, but you kind of got an idea.
Yeah.
In most cases, there was nobody. I mean, there wasn't enough ambulances, and you're watching people. Those little surfboards that they carry around. They're shuttling back and forth. But the professionalism of everybody was just outstanding.
That's great.
I mean, just to be part of the Wisconsin or this group, it was really nice. And I heard that nobody was screaming or yelling or do this or you're not doing that right. Everybody just click. They practiced this, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
County,
Yeah.
But when you heard the thing when they had the first 9/11 call with the dispatcher. He's screaming, code 52. 52 is, all 5 fire stations have to get going and come here. But when you hear the term 52, everybody's supposed to stop, and you're supposed to stop what you're doing and get involved. So they don't use that unless there's a problem, So they were showing, putting things together. But they have more video like this, more graphic stuff of it, but they can't show it on TV because it freaks everybody out.
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll be getting pieces
Oh
of it.
yeah, we've been getting some of those.
Have you?
That's why we're kind of meeting with everybody, because the stuff that's going on TV or the stuff that can't be shown on TV, we want those original ones too. So we're asking.
Yeah, so I'm sure there's people physically taking the video and you could get that.
Yeah, but this is great too, and I really appreciate you coming down to talk to us,
Well,
taking the time out.
I'm glad because you could not describe it with pictures what happened at the end. And then, people looking and how long, you could see just walking down, those people were sitting in the street for quite some time.
Yeah, absolutely, they were.
And nobody's freaking out or panicky or,
No, it looks like even the community just really came together. Everyone came together to help, which was wonderful.
Now, are you a state agent? Is that
I
what
am.
you are?
Yep.
And then how much of a state agency is part of this building that?
None. So we're actually out of our Milwaukee field office. So the
Okay.
Department of Justice, we have 5 field offices for our Division of Criminal Investigation throughout the state.
So then you're attached to Milwaukee. in a
Correct.
sense. But you have
Yep.
an office here?
No, so we're just here helping out. We're helping walk.
Please keep the victims and witnesses in your thoughts and prayers. I have included a link to the Waukesha Community Foundation Fund if you would like to learn how you can support the victims impacted by this tragedy. Thank you for watching and have a blessed day.